Hello everyone, in this video we're going to discuss a very important problem, and that is how can I avoid fumbling. Also, we're going to answer to the question, why do we fumble at the first place? Welcome back to Learn with Sam and Ash. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing based on the content that you will get in this video. And if you are an old timer to Learn with Sam and Ash, you know what's the deal. You have to give a big thumbs up to the video and continue watching till the end. So let's get started. The first part of the problem is, why do we fumble? This question is to be answered with respect to English language because that's what we are trying to learn here. Why do we fumble in English language? There are three important reasons. Problem 1. We try to translate from our native language to English. We have discussed this problem in detail in our previous video and the link goes right there. The problem of translating, or the process of translating from our native language to English, is actually a time-consuming process. The time you get to reply to someone is actually 30 seconds to 10 seconds to 30 seconds, and in this time period if you don't reply, you tend to fumble. I know this is tough. I know this is what we are doing for our lifelong, but this is the time when we need to stop this problem of translating. We need to stop this process of translating from our native language to English. Don't worry guys, the solution to avoid this problem goes in the video which I have already discussed, and also a bit we're going to talk at the end of this video. So let's talk about problem 2. Problem 2 is lack of vocabulary and grammar. Now, when I say vocabulary, I don't mean something which is very fancy, something which is really heavy. We tend to focus more on the words which we find in these newspapers or these books that we are reading, and these words are way too heavy. You won't even use them. So what's the point of gathering information which is of no use? Instead, if we try to collect information which is of our relevance, that will make sense. But we are not doing that. Right now, at this point, when we are having this conversation, we try to think of the words. We try to think of the words that we have learned, and they never come at the right time. At the same time, we face this problem of grammar. We know all the rules of grammar. We know everything that we have learned about tenses, prepositions, articles. But at that moment, when it's time for us to show, we lack and we fumble. So the problem is lack of appropriate vocabulary and lack of proper grammar usages. We're going to discuss the solution later, guys. So as I keep saying it, watch it till the end so that you don't miss the key element for which you have started watching this video at the first place. Let's talk about problem 3, lack of ideas. Now, where does this problem originated at the first place? This problem can happen to anyone from basic, intermediate to advanced level of learner. Now imagine you are in a presentation room and there is this meeting going on. You are a professional. You have been working in IT industry or civil industry for a long time. Your boss said, I want you to talk about this topic that you have mentioned in your presentation. Now, that's the point. That's the key point where you lack your confidence. That's the point where you lack your ideas because you copy pasted the thing somewhere and you don't know the real sense of what does it actually means. What do you do at that time? You fumble. You knew something, but you don't know the extensive version of that, and hence it leads to fumble. So lack of ideas can be really tricky. It's always said, if you don't know something about the conversation happening, it's better to be silent rather than fumble. And sometimes the problem leads to that extent that we try to fill these gaps with filler words like, all right, well, these are the words that we fill in to sound more confident, but they don't work all the time. So right now, if you noticed here, we talked about 3 major problems or 3 major reasons why we fumble. Problem 1 was that you lack the ideas. Problem 2 was the lack of vocabulary and grammar. And number 3 was translating from your native language to English. Now, we talked about everything that caused the problem of fumbling. Now let's talk about how can I avoid fumbling. Solution 1 goes this way, that you need to understand the situation, and I call it knowing the situation. We have talked about this solution also in our previous video, but let me give a rough revision of that. Knowing the situation means be present in the conversation. Now imagine you're a basic speaker and you're trying to learn this language. This can be helpful for you guys as well. So there is this somebody sitting next to you and he's trying to say something and you are at the basic level. So instead of trying to get these major ideas, trying to get these sentences that you have learned, fill in that situation, you should listen to that person carefully. And they say a best speaker is someone who listens carefully rather than just trying to fill in the space. So this person said something. At that moment, you stood there and listened to him very carefully. Knowing the situation means to be in the conversation. If he's saying, I want to see this movie, the name is this. Instead of thinking of all the sentences or which movies or lack of confidence, you can say, oh, that's a good idea. Movie is really good because I have watched it. So what you did, you fill in the space. You understood we are talking about movie. We are talking about a movie that he has not watched. So we're going to reply accordingly. Now the same thing can be helpful for speakers at intermediate and advanced level. There's a group discussion going on. One person said something, the second person said something, and this whole GD was going, or this whole group discussion was going about the movies that you watched last weekend. So a speaker said, I really liked the movie Bahubali, which was there in the theaters last week. The second person said, oh my God, that was just awesome. It was a mind-flowing movie. The third person said, I like the actor Prabhas, his body, his muscularity, his voice, everything was just mesmerizing. Fourth, and that's you. Now you are wondering, what should I say next? He covered something, he covered something, he covered something. What is left for me? In that place, you can just simply capture the moment. In that moment, you can just understand the situation and say, I agree with all of you. It was totally mesmerizing. The actor was really good and it was the best movie of the year. So at that moment, all you did is collecting their information, merging them in one sentence and speak it out. That's what we call knowing the situation. And it really works. It has helped me a lot of time. I have used it all the time. Try it right now. Also remember, if these reasons why we fumble and the solution, how can we avoid fumbling, is something that is familiar to you, please write in the comment section so that we are aware that we all are in the same boat and nobody is new or should be afraid of this learning process because everybody is same. I struggle with this problem till date. We fumble. Even the people who are native speakers fumble. Even the people who are learning this language for a long time fumble. So this is nothing new. And you need to tell us in the comment section that if this is something that you are dealing with or you have overcome it and what helped you out. So let's talk about solution 2. I call it, and it's the most important mantra that I have learned over my course of learning this language, and all my students have benefited from it. It's called the window of 2 to 7 sentences. Now, the window of 2 to 7 sentences is something that if you speak less than 2 sentences, you tend to show less confidence. You tend to show nervousness. Now, if you speak more than 7 sentences, you tend to show overconfidence, or maybe you are repeating your sentences, you are explaining something which is not relevant, and we call it beating around the bush. So the focus window a speaker or a listener has is 2 to 7 sentences, and hence it's always recommended to focus yourself within this window. Now, how is it related to fumbling? If you are in control of what you're saying, the chances of you to fumble is minimum. Sometimes students are really fast, they fumble. Sometimes they're really slow, they think and they think and they think, they fumble. Knowing the situation and being control of the text that you want to say, you will fumble less. So when I say 2 to 7 sentences, your friend asks you, what did you do last weekend? And your reply could be, I went to a theater to watch a movie Bahubali. I went for shopping after that and came back to my place and rested for the whole day. Only 3 sentences. So in these 3 sentences, you notice that the other person was actually listening to you very carefully. You didn't have to worry about a lot of grammar rules because you knew the situation is about past tense and hence you talked about the past tense. You knew the question was about movies and hence you talked about the movies. So when I was saying knowing the situation and being in control, 2 to 7 sentences, you didn't fumble even once. So that was how we tackle this problem of fumbling. with the help of the solution 2. Solution 2 is not everything, and this brings me to my last solution, which is called the power of pauses. Pause is really important in order to be more confident in speaking. We speak very fast, and hence we don't give the listener a space to remember or to notice what we're saying, and hence we tend to lose the connect over the sentences we wanted to say and we fumble. On the other hand, if you are too slow in speaking, you try to create these sentences, you try to focus on the grammar rules, you fumble. In both the cases, you didn't use pauses. In the first case, you were like, I watched this movie and hence, the name Bahubali, fumbling. On the other hand, you said, I watched this movie, the name was, I think, Bahubali, and it was way too slow, and hence lot of filler words, lot of kind of sounds. So what are we talking about is using these pauses when you're speaking faster can actually give you a space to think of your sentences. And if you're way too slow, this can give you a space to think of what to say next, and at the same time makes you sound more confident. So the answer could be, I watched this movie Bahubali. The name of the movie and the scenes in the movie was really awesome. There was these mountains, these trees, everything was just mesmerizing. So I use pauses after every sentence. I use proper spaces. I use proper confidence. And hence, guys, this brings me to the end of the video. We talked about the reasons. We talked about the solutions to this problem of fumble. Now it's your turn to make use of them. Also, I would take a minute to tell you that our 990 course is live on our channel. It's live on our website, and you want to grab it right now because it has a lot of information that you might need to practice English. It has a lot of exercises that will help you to get used to of these grammar rules. So please, please, please buy it right now. The link goes in the description, and I'll see you with the upcoming videos in this Learn with Sam and Ash channel. See you. Have a good day.